Gary, that was I suppose a bizarre game of rugby. Just to start with, like, what's it like playing in a game like that that's just constantly just going back and forth?
It had a bit of everything that game. Some stuff we'll be really happy with, and then some stuff that will give us something to talk about on Monday in the review. So obviously we had a lot of respect going into the game for the Sharks, and they certainly didn't disappoint in some of the things they delivered on, which made life tough for us. But then guys also rallied together and put some good pieces of play together, good defensive sets together when we needed it, and thankfully getting a good win at home against them. We'll always be happy with that. I thought the few changes at the start was unfortunate for Jack. Obviously he has a big impact on the team, but him having to pull out, and then Rod's equally stepping up, and then unfortunate with the knock to the head, and then Marty, who stepped in onto the bench and then ended up playing the whole game. I thought the effort he put in was a testament to himself, and he should be really proud of it, the effort and impact he had.
From your own point of view, you're called in relatively early as well after Jordan's injury, and like just the perfect way to get started into it when you scored the try. Is that just like you're fully into the game at that stage as well, getting in process? I suppose you kind of talk about being ready, and as the subs we had spoken about it the day before, just being ready at any stage to be called upon, but then also being able to deliver when the game, when guys start getting tired that are playing the whole game, and to try and bring energy. And I thought a lot of the bench did do that. All of us really had it in the forefront whenever we managed to get on to try and have an impact. Obviously I wasn't perfect from myself or any of us, but a good effort to beat them, the quality side they are, to beat them at home. Well, obviously we'll always be happy with that. Was there a moment in the second half where you did feel, okay, finally, I think now we kind of have this, I'm not going to say won, but you have control of the game fully, because for large parts of it was literally just back and forth.
Obviously a lot of back and forth. We created a bit of space in the scoreboard, but the danger they have, and I think I'm not 100% sure, was when I got stripped, and then they managed to score off that, and it's game on again straight away. So with the ability they have, you can't really lapse in concentration, which we did a couple of times, some of our own fault and some just from them being really good. So I don't think it was a game we ever sat still or were able to take the foot off the pedal. It was full on really from the off. And
just finally then for me, Connacht next week did a good win against Munster last night. Like the big games just keep on coming for you now.
Down to the sports grounds, one of the toughest places to go in Ireland and in the URC. And obviously we had them in Europe last year, and we're quite lucky to come out with a win in that first leg. So it's one of the toughest places to go, and you need to be at your best if you want to beat them. They obviously had a slower start to the season, but you can see them getting better and better each game, and it was evident in their win last night, and how they managed to grind it out. I think even Jack Carty said it after the game, they were probably operating at 60%, so their ceiling is still a lot higher than the level they're at, which I've no doubt they're going to bring. So for us, the challenge is to dust ourselves off, get right for Monday, and prepare as best we can, because that's what we need to do to beat them.
Where do you feel you are with your own game this early in the season? You've a couple of games on your belt now, and obviously you had some pretty nice moments out there today.
There was a mix, I suppose, with going on the wing. When you're 23, you sort of prepare for a number of positions you could be called upon. And someone like Jordan coming on for him is pretty big boots to fill. There's some good moments, but others just me being in the right place, the right time off the back of good work from Johnny, brilliant kick from Robbie as well. As I said, happy with some parts, and then definitely some other parts I'll have to pick the brains of the wingers to see how I can be better if I'm there again.
What are the most kind of challenging parts for you playing on the wing? Obviously you've done it before, but it's still a position you're not as familiar.
They play a massive role in our defensive system, and trying to be a step ahead and see what the opposition are going to do. So I'm not sure which number try it was, but when they scored the near corner here, I think it was Ryan and Will and maybe Ross that I had on the inside of me, and what I probably should have done better is to cue them up cue them up to what was coming next, maybe a phase or two later, to then give us a bit more defensive width to be able to come off square, which unfortunately I didn't do, and then they were able to turn and score pretty easy in the corner. So just little things like that, as I said, I'll have to have the conversation with the coaches and the other wingers to see how I can be better in those spots.
You've captained Leinster a bit over the last couple of seasons. What are the things that you try to take from Johnny in terms of that leadership? Leo was speaking to us yesterday about guys needing to understand the challenge of a game like today, and like Johnny looked particularly fired up.
Yeah, there's like loads of different levels to his leadership, and he's a pretty high bar to try and chase in terms of the leadership standards. Like what he does, like without a doubt, is he leads by example and how he plays and how he commits to the plan in place, but then also how he individually leads in his own performance. So that's probably the biggest thing that he does. But then he also draws on his experience, and he probably notices and makes decisions in the right time in the right areas of the park, which have a bigger impact on the team. So he's a great person for a few of us who are challenged in the leadership role to learn off. While he's still here, to keep trying to learn off as best we can.